Talk to me, mate. Can you just quickly fill us in with some key points for the VFL before we get into tonight's game, if that's okay?
Yeah, so VFL had a massive, massive win. Charlie West kicked six. We had a few disposal getters. I believe Jacob Ryan had about 28, Parker 27, no, 26, and Mitchell had 27. Mitchell also had 13 tackles. Um,
Wow.
and also Ryan and I just said his name, Parker, both had about 7 marks each.
What happened to
Thought
TJ
was
greatness?
So TJ in the commentary they said it was like a knee issue, so I think it might be his previous injury. It was
Oh,
like the
plantaris.
patella.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the terms. I think it's like a patella tendon or something like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It was something to that effect, but I'm sure we'll know on Tuesday.
And
Um,
no forward time
I
for
thought
Tom
Sting.
Mitchell.
No,
Okay.
no. I don't think he even touched the forward line, to be honest.
Okay.
If he did, it would be breaking news to me. And yeah, I thought Oscar Steen was massive. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, because I know, sorry, just going back on TJ, yeah, there was reports it was a quad, but as I said, I'm going off the commentary. Commentary said it was it was like they said it was a knee issue, but it wasn't like an ACL or anything like that. So,
Okay.
it was like, yeah, as I said, because he did have a patella injury, which just plays it like the back of the knee. So
Yeah.
if he's done that, then he's redone that injury. So hopefully not, but he did go off and didn't play for the rest of the game, and maybe would have played the first 10 minutes. But yeah, as I said, Steen was really awesome. Might have only had about 10, 12 disposals, but just every time he got near the ball, he'd just mark anything. I think I've said it for a while now. Just whenever you think of him, you think of Darcy Cameron. So yeah, he's not far away either. And yeah, as I said, Charlie West kicked six. So I think those are the guys that are probably um, and Dean. Dean was a massive down back as well. So
It's been good all season, hasn't
yeah,
he, in the
take
VFL, Dean?
yes, yeah. Just the way he's not like he doesn't beat you by strength. He beats you by smarts.
Okay.
And I think for someone that's in the VFL, I feel like he's been a bit unlucky because like if he was in a team that was say outside of the top six, I feel like he'd be playing every week. Um, but yeah, no, like yeah. So the VFL had a very good win. We've definitely got. I'd say. I mean, they always say you got to have it like a top 30 or a list of 30 to be contending for a flag. At the moment, like I reckon it's around 35 to 40 with the way we're going. So yeah,
Yeah.
couldn't be in a better position going into finals. So
It's
hopefully
unfortunate
we
for
prepare as
Ryan,
well.
though,
And
isn't it? Because there's so much depth in that position right now. For another AFL team, he's probably getting a run, isn't he?
oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's been playing a lot because he's Owen Carey has been amazing. So if you think about like a John Noble, that's sort of the type of player that he plays like. But the difference between him and Noble is that because he's 189 centimeters, he can also intercept. So he's in a weird way, he's a bit of a combination of a Markov and like a Noble. So you've got the running gun game of Noble, but then when it comes to Markov, he can sort of like take the intercepting mark. Has I don't know if he's got explosive pace, but he's obviously not slow, and he's definitely got the endurance. So, but yeah, we'll definitely give it his all. So
Talk
yeah,
talk to me,
Ryan's
Mason
probably been a
Cox.
bit of a sleeper this year. Cox. I mean, yeah, I mean, if he plays, you don't complain. But I mean, how is he being picked in this side? If you know what I mean. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he's obviously good enough to play AFL, but I think because our list is so strong at the moment, and he's not. Personally, I wouldn't have him in front of Steen at the moment. So that's basically where I would have him.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, I'm curious. Ilarus Smith in the back line has. I can see 7 intercept possessions. How is his game?
Yeah, I mean, he's been awesome. I mean, he still plays ruck as well.
Yeah.
Um, and like his work around the ground has obviously been his strength. Um, Obviously, given that he's second year, but really it's only been what technically right now it's only really been a full season because he only got picked up last like 12 months ago. Yeah, probably it's going to take obviously a bit more time, which is obvious, but um, yeah, super happy with his growth and yeah, will only develop and get better. Um, but yeah, I personally, if you want an AFL comparison, I can really see him being like a Mark Littafs,
Hmm.
sort of like a tall utility that literally plays everywhere.
Yeah.
So even if he's sort of similar to I mean at the time I think was it last year, the year before we had Frampton playing, key back and ruck. That's sort of probably where his next footy is,
Yep.
or what where we're trying to develop him as.
Yeah. I did say lastly, but what about, we talk about Jacob Ryan being unlucky in the sense that the role is just fulfilled with top caliber players like Dacos and Houston. What about Will Parker, man? 10 intercept possessions, 13 contested.
Yeah, it's another one. As I said, like you look at the list, and as I said, top 30. I reckon we've got 35 to 40 players you could probably look at, and they could do a job. I mean, we saw Hayes play the other week, and he's done pretty good for his role. Like that North game, can't remember how many tackles he had, but his pressure was amazing.
Yeah.
Um, it just shows that we can pretty much pick any of these guys and go, "Yep, you're playing this week," and they just turn up and show out. Like it's yeah, there's not many clubs that can say that. That's for sure.
It seems like with Westy kicking his 6 goals and notably the one to win the game after the siren against the Zebras, without Riley Mason in that forward line, and the addition of Noah Howes, it seemed
Yep.
like there needed to be a bit of space cleared up because it was a bit clogged with those three keys in there. Did that seem like that was why? Uh, did that enable Charlie West with having one less key like Riley Mason in the side?
Yeah, so that was a talking point that I was having with some people I was watching the game with. It definitely seemed like that because I think the last time we played was that night game, and yeah, you could just tell we just had too many tall forwards, and you could just tell like when with their running patterns, it's sort of yeah they were trying to move in like a phone booth in a sense. Where now that you've got less people in the phone booth, you can still like obviously it's a forward 50, but yeah, you got more room to move. And I think in that, like you could see that West had a lot more freedom. He was able to play his role being like the athletic key forward that he is.
Yeah,
Um, don't know if I've like said this, but I've got him as a potential like Tex Walker type, just a big, strong key forward, but very like athletic at the same time. So
yeah. And
um,
lastly, greatness. We'll
yeah,
go into the AFL, but just a shout out to Brady Gray. From what I
yeah,
did watch bits and pieces, I thought he was exceptional. So
yes.
credits to that man.
Oh, he in terms of the VFL listed players, yeah, he's probably been our best player. And it's not because he probably gets the standout game every single week, but just the fact that he just keeps rocking up, turning up. Um, yeah, I reckon in terms of our VFL listed players, I think if you look at it from a consistent basis, like if we're having a best and fairest right now, I'd say we'd be winning it right now. Not because, as I said, yeah, not because he's like again getting best on grounds, but he's always if he's he'd always like say be our third best player, but he's our third best player every week. Where you might have a Josh Brown that might be our best player, but then he'd be number 15, sort of thing
Yeah,
down the line, sort of thing. Or Riley Macy might go out and kick five and be our best player, but then again he'd be maybe outside the top 10, sort of thing.
yeah. Agreed.
Nah, Brady Gray's been absolutely amazing. I believe he had like 20 disposals and like he kicked 2 goals as well. So no,
Yeah.
he had his best game for the season for sure.
Sweet.